Hey everyone, I'm still here in Portugal. I've been traveling around and doing some paintings, and I've been staying with some friends. And I was on my way to help some close friends who are renovating a house in a town called Lobau, which is just sort of south of Porto. It's a beautiful place, and I decided to just stop when I saw this view and try and paint it, but not get not become a slave to exactly what I see there because there's just too much there. I just wanted to put an impression down. So I'm just using a mix of blue and green, just keep it simple, some washes, and gonna do big areas first and then just sort of go down to smaller shapes as we go and put a little bit of detail in at the end and start with these beautiful rooftops in the foreground here, the clay tiles that they love here. Now I've learned to ask myself, what specifically drew me into this subject that makes me want to paint it. It's not just that it's a beautiful landscape. It's kind of like a video game back, there's beautiful scenes in video games where they make specific foreground, middle ground, and backgrounds. They bring as much drama as they can to really suck you in. And I just see that in this image. But how do you make that? How do you simplify that and just convey that in a little painting? So that's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, as far as materials go, I brought quite a bit of paints and brushes over with me. My golden and Liquitex paints, which I love. But I've also found some good sort of no-name brands. Well, I don't know if they're no-name, but I haven't used them before. I think a lot of them come from China, to be honest. And you buy them in these markets, these huge supermarkets that they have. It's weird because they have these supermarkets that sell everything, and they're run by Chinese families. But I found some good quality canvases and paints, and you can see this canvas is pretty sturdy. It's nicely primed. It's a decent weight canvas, and some of the paints I've bought there are good as well. So it's happy days. I'm just continuing to sort of put in a mix of blue, green, and reds, mix it into these green shades, and just give an impression of all the variety of the different trees and all the different greens and big patches of grass. So just continuing to indicate different kinds of foliage. I want the dark areas in the front sort of to lead your eye in. Show the background. Wobbly easel. It's portable, but it's not too strong. So just trying to do that bit of the purpley background. The blue I'm using isn't ultramarine blue at the moment, which probably would give me a nicer purple, but it's okay for this. Just telling me what I want to say. It's allowing me to adequately show the foreground, middle ground, and background. And I think you get that feeling that your eyes going in. You sort of swooping down as if you're flying into the scene, and then you can see the background. And I think it's a good start as a rough blocking in process exercise, you want to call it. This is where I just bring out the trusty old line brush and just start clarifying things for myself a little bit. I know that there's still a lot of work I could do, a lot more color areas and the shadow under the rooftops and things like that I could do instead of just going for the line. But for me, my line work is my more expressive part of my painting, so I enjoy it the most. and then I sort of work back into it over, with color and shade, light and shade again afterwards. So leaving some line in, painting over some of the line. But I think, just for a quick sketch, it's more efficient note taking. And then the more I think about it, the more I think I should just be doing more black and white painting for this kind of observational paint artwork, because it's not intended to just be an accurate color reflection. It's sort of just more of a journal, I guess, of what I'm seeing, travels. But I do enjoy that the shading that you can get with the black line, black and grey, and the graduation. Oh, this is also a fun part. Is just so cadmium red, bit of yellow, bit of blue mixed in to tone down the red. It's way too red now, so I've got to just mess around with it and get that clayey feeling, which would just be a bit more white. That white, you want a sort of pinky gouache look, That block on the left, that red block should be. It's an apartment block, so it's not supposed to be red, but I'm just putting it in there to simplify those shapes. And I'm looking for different greens, different mixes of yellow, blue, bit of red, different kinds of olive greens and sap greens. You can get so many varieties of greens, and never try not to use greens straight out of the tube unless it's just something very specific that you want. And wanted to just say thanks for watching. If you've watched up to this point, it's quite a lot of process that I appreciate you coming along with me for this little journey. And I'd love to hear your comments, whatever's on your mind. So I'm just using the scene in front of me kind of as a roadmap. So I'm just kind of going through it on my own, and then occasionally I'll look up and sort of look at the map, but I'm not following it 100% faithfully, as you can see. So this, you can see this is so much fun. Just more green mixing. There's just so much variety you can get from blue, yellow, and a bit of red. Well, just a bit more on the color mixing. I know a lot of artists in their demos have quite specific rules about how they mix colors, and they do make it quite clear. Well, obviously here I'm using the mix of blue, red, and yellows. Sometimes I go to Prussian blue, sometimes I go to I'll use ultramarine blue. But really, it has to be, it's instinctive, I think, and it's, if you were watching me, I'm going to have courses, and I'm going to hope to invite people over, and we can all paint together. I think it'll be awesome. But it's definitely, just a lot of experimentation, and doesn't matter making mistakes here and there. It's fine. It's a great process. Painting is just such a great thing to do. I love it. I wish I could do it more than I do it. And if we could get a group together at some point, it makes it more inspiring and fun. So you see those, doing that edge is sort of what this painting is about. It's the contrast of those flowy lines of plants and trees contrast with those hard edges. And that's one of the things that that drew me into this picture. And, I try not to get sucked in by trying to match the realism. I'm just showing how I mix this green here. Just it's a nice light olive green, and I don't think I could get that out of a tube. There are so many ways to approach just about any painting that I just try and enjoy myself and not worry about how it's going to turn out. And I hope I'm imparting that a little bit, just the sort of enthusiasm of just getting stuck in and not preparing too much, not doing all these preparatory sketches. That is the better way. That is the better way to do it. But this is just more. It's just more exciting and adventurous. But I think I'm going to say this as well. I'm going to contradict myself. If I was doing a painting course, I would definitely get out the sketchbook first and try and plan out what I was going to do and encourage everyone to do the same thing. The results will be better. You're going to waste less time. This is just more, I guess, it's just, what's the word? Instinctive. You see a scene and you want to capture it, and that's it. So I think if I just had this thought, and I don't know if I'm talking shit or not, but it's like, artists, as opposed to sort of, bankers or financial guys, aren't trying to capture money. They're trying to capture what they see. That's what I want to collect. Doesn't mean I don't want to be rich and have money. Of course I do. I'd like to have a good life and a, reasonably prosperous life. But that feeling of just owning an image, it's weird. It's kind of like, it's almost like a greed. You see something, you have to have it. That urge to take a photo, to paint, maybe even for singers, I guess, But I think it's quite I think it's something I need to think about, because I think it's pretty interesting. Like, what makes me have this urge to capture this picture? It's not enough to just see the picture. I have to have it. If you look at it in that context, maybe artists are just greedy capitalists. Give me your comments on that crazy line of thinking. Well, I think that I definitely messed up that grey patch towards the top of the trees there on the left. It's sort of just ugly grey, I think. So I'll probably go over that at some point. Right now, the sky, I don't think is. It is kind of a murky day. It's not super bright. So, but I need to lighten that sky. So I'm just going to contrast, light walls against darker foliage, and because there's not a strong light, I can't really see which side the light is coming from, where it's casting shadow, and I should make a decision and just stick to it, but I'm just sort of going ahead and just putting light coloured walls in. And the shadow sides might be a little bit haphazard, but yeah. There's going to be a final switch over to the final painting very soon, because I didn't want to show the whole long process. I will on another time, but anyway, here's the final painting, and thank you for joining me, and we'll keep doing better ones as we go.